Quake 2 for the N64 is an entirely different beast from its PC counterpart. Last time we took a look at Quake 64, which was a cut-down port of Quake 1. This is not the case for Quake 2. First, we switched developers. The game is no longer made by Midway Games, but a company called Raster Productions, who you know from nothing. This is their first game. Maybe there are some names you recognize. Tim Willits and Marty Stratton worked on this. Okay. For those who don't know, Tim Willits was a level designer for Doom 2, Quake 1, and would later go on to be game director for Quake Champions. As for Marty Stratton, he went on to become executive producer at id for games like Quake Live, Doom 2016, and Doom Eternal. Okay, so this game was in good hands. Secondly, this game was made ground up for the N64, so we can expect the limitations of the 64 were taken into consideration when making the game, right? I've learned from the last game. Let's go to the options menu and check the controller setup. And it seems that they have learned from Turok and made it the standard control scheme. Great. But don't feel down if you don't like the Turok standard, since we have 5 presets to select from. Does none of them suit you? No problem. We still have full controller remapping. So no need to fumble with the controls this time. Now comes the question. Does it improve on the controls of Quake 1? Kinda. The aiming feels about the same as it did with Quake 1. Still a bit sluggish in the micro adjustments and too slow in the macro. I think they also removed the auto aim. I don't see an option for it in the options menu, and I think they tried to fix it by having wide hitboxes for the enemies. It doesn't help that your shots are slightly off from where the crosshair is, so you need to aim a tad bit further to the left. It's very annoying until you realize it, and leads to moments like this. So the aiming can be a tad bit weird, but this is an arena shooter. The most important part is movement, and it feels not that good. But this is mostly down to the jumping. Typically first-person shooters give you what I call the Wile E. Coyote effect. This just means you can jump slightly after you dropped off the ledge of a platform. It's to compensate for the fact that you can't see your legs, and makes jumping feel better. Combine that with the lack of air control, needing to jump up ladders, and having to go to the menu to set your movement speed to walking, and movement can feel like quite a hassle. But enough about moving about. Let's talk about the looks. The game looks good for a 1999 N64 release, and especially compared to its predecessor. Choppy animations have been replaced by smooth interpolated per vertex animations. Some of you might be expecting that sweet jelly look to everything, but it's not noticeable in the N64 release due to the low resolution. The environments look good and keep up a good variety, moving from industrial looking interiors to mineshafts, industrial looking mineshafts, and industrial looking ships in space. The game relies heavily on interior spaces, mostly to keep the frame rate up. But I must say it does look impressive when they open up and allow you to set foot in an open space. The sound design helps a lot. It's on par with what was delivered on the PC, and sounds crisp. Sadly, the computer no longer updates, so we have taken a step back in some regards. Like Quake 1, we have a nice ambient soundtrack by somebody called Eraser. At least that's what the manual says. Wikipedia says Aubrey Hodges worked on it, but offers no citation. And the Quake wiki says Eraser is an alias for Aubrey Hodges, but again, no source is cited to back up this claim. So I eventually found the source. I went to his website and found he listed Quake 2 as one of the things he worked on. Apparently there's a bug in the music playback system that causes the track's timing to start drifting. If it helps, I didn't notice it, but then again I am tone deaf, so take that for what it's worth. Okay, so it looks good, sounds good, and the controls are acceptable, but an FPS is only as good as its weapons. So what are we working with? At the start of the game we have the blaster, which replaces the axe of Quake 1. It's weak but has infinite ammo, uses for poking around the rooms and looking for secrets, or as a last resort weapon. Next we have the shotgun. Similar to Quake 1, it has a light spread, but is quite useful at long ranges. The super shotgun is an up-close killer. Contrary to the regular shotgun, this thing has a massive spread, but when you dig your face in between somebody's cheeks and start firing, this thing is bound to do a ton of damage. It's also surprisingly quick to reload since it's pump action. The machine gun takes up the third slot. It's good for taking down a group of low-level enemies. There is hardly any repo, so just blast away. The chain gun is to the machine gun what the super shotgun is to the regular shotgun. Except not as good. I hardly found myself using the chain gun. It chews through ammo, and while it doesn't need to rev up, it does not stop firing when you let go of the button. So in the end, it's just more wasteful than the machine gun. The grenade launcher allows you to channel your inner clan arena player and nade spam around the corners. Unlike Quake 1, the nade launcher does not share its ammo with the rocket launcher. Speaking of the rocket launcher, it's back. Moving on. The Hyper Blaster is a machine gun with a wind down before the next fire. It does more damage, I guess. It's good for heavier targets and uses energy cells, so you can save bullets. Speaking of taking down heavier targets, the railgun. It's the iconic sniper rifle of Quake. It feels a tad bit weak. Something in my mind says this thing should do more damage. You know, firing depleted uranium slugs and all. Speaking of doing damage, the iconic Doom weapon makes its first 3D showing. The BFG 10K. That's at least a 1K step up. It works mostly the same as it does in Doom 1 and 2, firing a massive ball of death into a room, and unliving everything. So the arsenal's not bad. Maybe even okay. The chain gun is a bit redundant though, but okay. So let's check the manual for the story before we begin. Intelligence reports are sketchy at best, but what we do know is this. The Strogg, a formidable cybernetic race, is determined to conquer its population, and have launched attacks against our planet. They are an unstoppable evil, and they have no reservations about fulfilling their insidious plan. The annihilation of every living thing on Earth. But Earth has a plan as well. You. You're a space marine, special operations, elite among the forces. You've been dropped behind enemy lines to carry out the reconnaissance mission of the Strogg's home planet. Your objectives are clear. Infiltrate, destroy, survive. Stop the Strogg plan to wipe out Earth and her inhabitants. I have a sinking feeling they just made it up as they went along, and so will I. Here's what I gleaned from the game manual. The humans are at war with the Strogg, who want to conquer Earth. But you're part of an elite platoon. Your name is... Viper! And you are sent in to weaken the Strogg defense. But before you can land, you and your mates are shot out of the air, leaving you the last survivor. So taking from there, we start the first level. Right after crash landing, we get our first mission. Locate the Central Complex. So how many enemies do we kill with the blaster? 0, we pick up the shotgun right in the next room. Here we encounter our first enemy, the Light Guard. These are the weakest enemies in the game. A well-placed shotgun blast will take them out. They can sometimes fall into a last stand animation where they will fire 2 shots before giving up the ghost. Just step to the right to avoid it. The level is straightforward, perfect for a tutorial. Simple, short, platforming, shootable barrels, ladders, and a secret double barrel shotgun. So we're off to a good start. The levels are short in general, which is a good thing since mid-level saving is not a possibility. In level 2 we need to find explosive charges, presumably to blow something up. Moving forward we encounter the shotgun guard. These are a step up from the last enemy, since the blast from them deals quite a bit more damage. Nothing a little double barrel action can take care of. And since we are encountering new enemies, might as well introduce another. The Enforcer, boasting a higher health pool and a chain gun for an arm. Just double barrel him before you get shot. Moving on. What is that noise? Does it stop if I pause? Oh. The game just crashed. With the blown cart we're back in the game, and find the console we need to blow up. Now for the explosive charges. Looking around we find a pipe we can travel in, but let's check around the corner first, where our exploration rewards us with a gunner. I would like to remind you that this is the second level and they have already introduced 3 new enemies. The gunners are an evolution of the Enforcer. Not only do they boast a higher health pool and a chain gun of the Enforcer, but also an automatic grenade launcher. So be extra careful and stun them with a double barrel shotgun. For slaying this foul beast, we get the machine gun. Traveling through the shit pipe and up an elevator, we find the explosive charges. Now let's head back, and what is this? Adrenaline. Adrenaline is the ultimate reward for finding secrets, permanently boosting your HP by 1, which is quite handy. Heading back and exploring further will give us the grenade launcher, and the target to try it out on. But we all saw how it went. Let's finally blow up the console and bail. The Intelligence Center tasked us with finding the data disk. So we set out immediately and find a new enemy, the Berserker. Not hard, but he does have the famous quote everybody loves. Double barrel blast him and move on. Oh, my shoulder! Green lasers can't stop me, but that might. This is the tank, and his name does not lie. He has hit points galore and will rip you a new one with either his machine gun, laser, or rocket launcher. So let's double... No, just kidding. We'll use all of our machine gun ammo only to discover that the door is locked. Other door then. Push the keyboard in, let's head back, and there she is. Now let's go out and onto the communications center. Hey, center is spelled wrong. There. Fixed. Now to upload the CD and discover the most annoying enemy. This abomination is called the... Apparently they are not in a manual. Dogs. These are dogs. They hit you with their continuous laser beam and drain your health quickly. But I have a machine gun. Let's just move on and grab the Gatling gun and meet the flyer. Nothing special, just a bit hard to hit. Moving on until we get to the communication center, where we can upload a disk to... What do we need to upload it for? I don't know, but defense is spelled wrong. Space. The final frontier. Or the halfway point in this game. Let's disable the gravity generator. Just as we're about to walk up the stairs, we see her, the most beautiful enemy of all. The Iron Maiden. Or as the manual calls her, the cyber bitch from hell. I would like to remind you that one of the writers of this manual was a woman. She does not have much health, but fires rockets at you from a distance. And those back quite a bunch, as demonstrated here by my shitty aim.
Humiliation.
Let's disable the gravity generator and get the explosives and bugger off. Time to blast. We need to blow up 3 generators with the charges we got from the last level. But not before meeting the Icarus, the upgraded flyer. It's really just more health and more damage. You know what we do with new enemies by now. Past him we find a nice looking chamber, but this is not where we want to be. So let's move down where we find this absolute unit of an enemy. The Gladiator has one of the strongest attacks thanks to his shoulder mounted railgun. No, not this time. Get something heavier. It's at this point where I started to notice that the game gets stingy with ammo. So I must nade. Planting the last charge puts you on a 2-minute timer to make a quick escape. And made it with 7 HP. On the Strog Freighter we need to reprogram the navigation computer and redirect it to the Strog Moon. So when we get past the 7 HP torture room and find the secret hyperblaster by accident, it's smooth sailing. So when we get past the 7 HP torture room and find the secret hyperblaster by accident, it's sailing to the control room, where we get the blue key and disable the security measures we triggered earlier. Going back up we meet the Gladiator and find the glass is gone, revealing the railgun. Let's find something to use it on. Okay, not that. Or those. A worthy enemy. See what I meant with it feels weak? Anyway, moving on. Reprogram this ship and get to the cargo bay. It's a straightforward map, just fight your way to the pod. Now to disrupt the Strog mining operations, starting with their stabilizers. Oh, hold on. Anyway, you want to see the last new common enemy? Here it is! The Mutant. He's the worst version of the Fiend from Quake 1. And a special salute to our last enemy. Let's press the button to unlock the control room and this one to destabilize the place. Now for the storage facility. Somewhere in this complex is a teleporter to the planet's surface. It's a short search, as it's in the next room. Taking the teleporter will task you with redirecting the laser drill to access the lower storage. Pushing further on, we move to the largest open environment in the game. It looks good. Past the laser we find a switch and a stack of crates. Ooh, you can blow this one up.
Oh my!
Heading back to the main square will hold quite a show for us. Just watch out for the lasers surrounding the arena. Once we beat him, the elevator is ours, and we head down to organic storage. Here we need to infiltrate the security booth to unlock the doors. It's not a very interesting level, so don't mind if I skip it. Just know that we escaped through a freight elevator to the processing center.
Accuracy.
This is just another pit stop. We need to pass through here to get to the geothermal station. How are we going to do that? Drill a hole in the ground. The geothermal station is terrible. To start off, we have a slow moving platform, which you have to ride every time you die. This terrible platforming segment, and then you have this bloody thing. Don't forget, every time you die, you have to do this again. Activate the power systems, disable the cooling, and escape through the pipes into the detention center. The detention center is where they bring all the captured soldiers to be tortured and broken. I think it's meant to be that their screams can be heard from everywhere to emphasize the suffering. Maybe they should have used better voices. Poor souls. This place is brutal. So brutal we can only leave in a casket to the research lab. The team of tortured soldiers continues into the lab. We need to disable the energy core, so we have to travel further into the labs. And the Strogg are really brutal with their methods. Deactivate the energy core and take the train out of here. At least the Strogg recycle. While this level is uneventful, it builds up to the next level by making us unlock the lift to the boss layer. It's locked by a couple of latches. Same thing goes for the next map. Except I'm really low on ammo and die a bunch. So let's proceed to the core. We're starting to near the end. Descent to the core. I mean descent to core. A massive elevator leading to the Strogg command center. This level is tough. Lots of moving parts and endless pits that kill you instantly. Tough enemies for which you don't have the ammo. So you know what I did? Just ran past them. No looking back. At the end you're greeted by a hologram of a really big tank. Yes, I thought it would attack me. Taunting you to step into the lift. Upon your arrival, everything is quiet. I thought it might be a problem as I ran past the previous level, but they restock you before the fight. So let's walk through the teleporter and face our destiny. Two powerful variants of the tank await us in the command center. The battle is your typical id style, incredibly easy if you just strafe around. One down, and this abomination spawns. Eat BFG. Oh, there's another one. Railum, I guess. And now for the real fight. Get in the teleporter and let's go. That's it. No Macron? Some other boss? Weak. But we get the code and see all the enemies we fought against, which is quite a nice send-off, I guess. Rogue Entertainment? The Strife guys? Okay, cool. Quake 2 for the N64 is not a bad game. It might be a bit cut down from its PC version, and the controls wonky at times. It does hold up quite nice on its own. There is multiplayer, but I did not play it. But I read it as deathmatch, team deathmatch, capture the flag, and a form of CTF where you need to hold on to the flag for as long as possible. I hope it gets a re-release at some point on PC. But for now we can only hope. Fun fact, as I was writing this script, yeah, they actually re-released it. Nice. I'll see you next time. If you're good in pattern recognition, you will know what's up next. I'm just going to say PS2, not Dreamcast.
Pumping system activated.